everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this new season of Why We Grow. It's been a little bit since we have recorded these episodes. It's probably been about a year, and we really missed it. We loved chatting with all sorts of different people from all across the country, talking about what got them inspired and started gardening. It was so much fun. So I'm so excited to get this started back up. And the first person that Dale and I had the pleasure to meet with this year was Kelly from Colorado. And she was incredible. It was so much fun talking with her. She is if you've ever heard of the Instagram channel Lazy Girls Gardening Club, she has such a fun page all about starting zinnias and so many beautiful flowers. I loved it. I loved chatting with her, hearing more about her background, and also just finding out her favorite flowers and zinnia varieties and all of that. It was so much fun sharing tips and tricks with her. I hope you all find it just as much fun as I did. Welcome, everybody. We are super excited to have Kelly Radcliff with us today. She is with Lazy Girls Gardening Club. I love it. I'm a huge fan.
Well, thank you.
Well, so today I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about your background because I feel like I started following you after the fact, so I didn't get to see like all of your beginning stuff. So I would love to hear more about like what got you inspired and what got you started.
Yeah, so I kind of have a little bit of an interesting story. I was a teacher for 20 years and I ended my last few years teaching kindergarten and loved it. But really, towards the end, started feeling like I was just needing a change a little bit. Um, and I had always been a part time blogger. So I have a website called The Tattered Pew, and I've been blogging for about 8 years. So I did that part time. And I thought, well, this might be a good time to kind of transition out as things kind of changed in our world a little bit. Um, I was just feeling the need for a little bit more joy in different ways. And so I thought, okay, I am going to retire from teaching and go full time as a blogger and social media person, because along with my blog I also had a another Instagram page called The Tattered Pew. And so after about a year of doing that, I'm 3 years out now from teaching, and I was blogging away, loving it. I just thought, well, let's dive into some analytics here and see, what do people like mostly come to my blog for? And I was pleasantly surprised that I had a blog post all about how to grow zinnias, and it was year after year repeatedly the top performer and driving me the most traffic to my blog. And I thought, okay, well, this is interesting. Like, I need to do something with this. And so um, I kind of talked to my family and secretly started a new Instagram account, thinking, yeah, like, I'm crazy. I can barely handle one Instagram account. But it was kind of to the point where I was like, okay, I need to, maybe pivot a little, take a risk. And I love growing zinnias. I love gardening. And so I, like I said, I secretly started this account and I had so much content. And this was last January, like 2024. Like, this just
Wow.
happened.
Yeah.
I know. And so I quickly created 20, like 20, I don't even know how many reels, so that I would have one to post every day for 2 weeks straight. And plus like a little more. And so it was so much fun. And I found myself excited to get on and share. And it wasn't like pulling teeth like sometimes it had been on the other Instagram account. Because I was excited to talk about flowers and share that joy with everybody. And it was like another form of teaching for me. And so
Yeah.
it was nuts. It was nuts. And so one of my reels went viral, and my friends started finding out, and my Instagram friends too. And they were like, what is going on? And after 2 weeks, well, that viral reel happened 2 weeks in. and I grew over 50,000 followers within like 3 weeks.
Oh my
And
God.
uh-huh. I was freaking out because it took me 8 years to get 30,000 on the other account, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"What is going on?" But the cool part was that I knew Instagram. I knew how to do everything. It was just effortless at this point. And because I had something that I was invested in and was helping others, I think that's what took off. Plus, I named it Lazy Girls Garden Club. And, I mean, I think people were, interested in, okay,
Of
what's this girl
course.
all about?
So how
So
did you come up with that name?
well, so that was my blog post title. To that those several years before, Lazy Girl's Guide to Growing Colorful Zinnias. And so I'm like, okay, so if this blog post did so well, there's something about it besides the zinnias. And my mom's like, it's gotta be the lazy girl. And it's totally me. Like I'm real laid back. I'm just like, I want it to be approachable and fun for everybody. Like not intimidating like gardening can be. And so I just wanted to share it with everybody, and a lot of people found me, and that's kind of where we're at today. Now I'm over 200,000.
I
So
love it. That's
nuts.
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
It's so awesome to be able to see people do what they love and share joy. It's we started this about 8 years ago, is when we started
Mhm.
our Seed to Spoon YouTube channel, and then made the app after that. And it was just we were both working separately as well. Like she was a nurse and I was a software developer. And
Yes.
yeah, it's awesome to see people being able to do what they love and share that with the world.
I agree. I agree.
So have you always loved zinnias? Have they always been your favorite flower? Or?
I mean, yes, honestly, I didn't start growing them until about 4 years ago.
Uh-huh.
My favorites, of course, hydrangeas and peonies. I've always grown those. But they didn't come with as much ease for me as zinnias did.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're a lot harder.
And yeah, they're a lot harder.
Mhm.
Hydrangeas, and here I live in Colorado. I don't know if I mentioned that. Um, Hydrangeas, like only Annabelles really do well here. And those are gorgeous. So I'm happy about that. But they're still a little tricky. And peonies, those do great too. But it's like they just don't have as long of a blooming season. And so once I discovered zinnias, there was so much to love about them that I quickly became obsessed. So
Yeah, they're definitely one of my favorites as well. Just for
yeah,
like they're super simple. Like we literally just go out and toss seeds whenever we're planting. So I definitely see the laziness in it.
totally. Yes, I'm all about the scattering.
I I joke all the time. It's like the easiest husband hack ever is you can just throw out some seeds, get some rain, and then go cut a flower every now and then, and that's all you have to
It's
do.
yes, that is a great hack.
Yeah.
It definitely is. I do love to have the zinnias in the house and have like fresh bouquets here in the kitchen with me while I'm working. And yeah, it
Mhm.
brightens up a house so much. I love it.
It really
So
does.
we usually try and stick to like why we grow, but I'm really excited to talk to you about cut flowers. So I'm trying to like throttle myself because we will get to that. I've seen you have a lot of content all about cut
Yeah.
flowers, and
Mhm.
that's something that the past year for us has really been something we've gotten into. Before, flowers were something we grew for our vegetables before. They were companions, they were like
Yes.
because they did this. And then this year was really the because I wanted beauty in the summer when it was hard to grow everything else in Oklahoma. Like that's
Yeah.
why I had a bunch of zinnias. And I loved every day being able to go out there in the morning, knowing it's going to be really hot that day, but I can go pick a whole bunch of zinnias, bring them inside, have life and color inside the house. And the kids got involved, and my son started taking a flower to his teacher every day. And it was
Oh.
just this whole like family thing that was awesome. So I'm really excited to talk to you about cut flowers, but I also want to know more about like how you got into flowers to begin with and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
how did you get into like just growing in general? Like what got you growing stuff?
Well, I have to tell you, it's my mom, 100%. She always has been growing flowers since I grew up. Actually, my grandmother too. Um, I remember going in her garden as a young girl, and we always just spent time outside. And so I have fond memories of cosmos in my mom's backyard. She loved those because they would grow wild too. Um, and so I still get to hang out with my mom, which is really fun, and we still love gardening and doing everything together. So I'd say that's what got me excited and inspired. Plus, when I first got married, that was the first time I actually had a yard. So that
Mm.
was 17, 18 years ago. And I wanted to create beauty outside our home. And so that started with some hydrangeas in the front yard.
I love it.
But where in
Mhm.
Colorado are you?
I'm in northern Colorado in Fort Collins.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
love
north of
I love
Denver.
all of Colorado, but yeah,
Oh,
really nice.
it's
Yeah,
just
it's
lovely
beautiful.
here.
It's
I
beautiful.
the only thing I'm sad about is that I don't have a longer growing season. I have to wait until, like, Mother's Day to plant anything outside, where some of you guys are so lucky it's, like, April or even earlier, but
Mhm.
that's
Do you do
okay.
any, like, indoor or greenhouse growing or anything up there?
No, I'm the lazy girl,
Yep.
and, but I'm excited because indoor seed starting, no, too much for me. It's not gonna happen. But have you guys heard of winter sowing?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so that's my new obsession lately.
nice.
If I find time, because I have, like, everything that I need, I'm waiting on a couple seeds, but, I'm planning to do some winter sowing out in our yard in Ziploc baggies.
Nice.
We're gonna try it, and my zinnias will be later, like they'll be closer to March, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna be doing like a bunch of different things out, like maybe poppies and sweet peas and
Oh,
other
cool.
I
flowers.
love
Yeah,
it.
Well, we'll
I
be
know.
watching. I've been
Okay,
Yeah.
watching
that
Instagram
means I
stuff.
have to do it now.
Yes, you are yep, you have to do it.
I gotta add because all I really know right now, like zinnias, I feel like I really like went down the rabbit hole of zinnias, and now I want to find more flowers. And then like now I know like specific types of zinnias I like to have the types of stems I'm looking for. So
Yep.
yeah,
What are your favorites? Do you have like
Carrie can
specific?
tell you the names of my favorites. Carrie, what are
Yeah.
the varieties of my favorites?
Well, so we really like the Parks Pick zinnias because they're super tall. Like they were like as tall as we were, and they
Oh
have
yeah.
really long and sturdy stems, so they were great for cutting flowers.
Uh-huh.
And then we really liked the Cinderella zinnias
Oh,
too.
Cool.
Those ones are so pretty. I was amazed. I was like,
yeah.
"Oh my gosh!"
I
Like
know.
some of the yeah.
I am excited to grow those this year. I've never grown them.
It was
I've
our first
been
time this last year.
Was it? Oh god, I
Yeah.
can't wait. They're just gorgeous. They're like little cupcakes.
I know, I know. They were I was amazed. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just love it." I was like, "There's no way we can cut this," but we ended up cutting it because
Just
I wanted
remember.
them inside
Yeah.
too.
I know. I have people tell me that all the time. "I just don't wanna cut them." I'm like, "Trust me, cut them. More will come. You wanna
Yep,
keep cutting them."
Yep.
yep. It's
Yeah.
a hard transition in your mind to realize that at first, I feel like,
It's weird.
but
It's weird.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
What about you? What are your favorite varieties?
Well, so I really loved the Oklahoma series last year, but they were a little small for me. I was wanting the huge giant ones. So like Benary's Giants and then the State Fair variety
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
that Park Seed has. I'm so excited to grow those. I love
Yes.
those. But I mean, I'm just good with whatever. I'm gradually going into some of more of the specialty ones, but I love a good mix. I just want
Yeah.
them to do their thing.
Yeah, Dale, I can't remember what the name of those really short ones that were like huge. They were like the size of my hands. Do you
And they
remember
were
the
short.
names of those? They were very very compact, very small zinnia.
Well,
I was
due to the
amazed by it.
magic of editing, it's this one right here. We'll find
Oh
Yes,
my gosh,
I
yes.
will look it up and I will pop it up
it.
because I do know there. Oh man, I'm
We're used
gonna
to live
kick
streams, so
myself.
we're gonna take full advantage of being able to edit. We're used to doing everything live. So
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, well, those are great because they're perfect for containers.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, I know. Yeah.
so I'm gonna grab some of those.
Yes. I think I sent you some, actually.
No way.
I think they were in there because I was like, because I loved them, I was like, "I need to put that into her order."
Okay. Yes. Well, I have a ton. You sent a ton, so I'm so excited.
We
Well,
need to
I
do
have
a
so many
video.
favorites.
Yeah.
We need to do a video a little later in the season where we just talk about like just this all the zinnias we're both growing compared to each
Yeah.
other, like, what our favorites are. Just do a whole deep dive on zinnias together. I think we
Oh,
could talk for hours about zinnias together.
oh,
I'm
I
already
agree, and I think that would be very popular. It's crazy how much people love zinnias. Like it kind of baffles my mom. She's so darling. I love her. She's like, "Are you sure you can just talk about zinnias all the time?" And I was like, "Yes, I can, mom." And she's like, "Wow, this is amazing."
That's funny. I
So,
did see a reel you posted the other day with her looking
yeah.
through catalogs. I was like, "Aw."
Uh-huh. Isn't that cute? I mean, she
Yeah.
is like my partner in crime. So,
That's so cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you grow food at all, or do you grow just mostly flowers?
So, as of now, no food, but I really, I want to. Um, but I am lazy when it comes to like researching and figuring everything out. So maybe using the app will be able to be a big help for me. But I want to be able to grow a lot of like probably lettuce and radishes. We eat a lot of radishes and lettuce. Being able to grow my own food would, I think, be a goal that I never thought that I would want to
Well,
do.
if you really like the lazy method of scattering seeds, that's pretty
Yeah.
much how we plant lettuce. Like,
No
we
way.
literally go
Yeah,
out there and just
grow it.
toss lettuce seeds, and they are so simple. It's so
And
easy.
and just like zinnias, they're cut and come again. Like they'll put off 2 or
Mhm.
3 rounds. And where
I
you are,
know.
you'll be able to have lettuce like deeper into the summer because it
Uh-huh.
doesn't like the heat. Like it bolts and goes to seed once it gets above 80, generally, like 80,
Yeah.
90, depending, other factors. But I
Mhm.
think up there you'll be able to have it. Spinach too. Spinach, like
Ooh,
same way. Just throw the seeds, like the same way you do zinnias. Do the same thing with
unbelievable.
lettuce, kale, spinach.
Kale,
Um,
yeah.
you could do the same thing with radish. Radish is like 25 to 30 days to harvest too. So it's really
Right?
fast.
That is super fast.
Yeah, it's like the
Mhm.
fastest thing you can grow. So I think
Okay.
you really like that one.
And I assume they all need full sun, right?
No, no. Yeah, lettuce
No.
like lettuce can handle like 2 to 3 hours even. Spinach needs a little bit more. All of them will like shade in the afternoon when it gets hot. And radish can handle like none of these have to be full sun. They'll all be okay getting some shade.
Okay, well, good. Then I might have a spot.
Yeah, the only things that really
Yay!
require, like, full sun are gonna be, like, fruiting things, like,
Okay.
like, generally, like, a lot of the leafy greens and root crops can handle shade, so
Well, I love this.
awesome.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully we talked you into adding a few other things. There's some varieties that look beautiful too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I grow a lot of things that I
Mhm.
don't even like mustard, like
Yeah.
mustard greens. I don't like mustard, but they are just gorgeous, and
Mhm.
I will grow them just for their ornamental value. Now, Dale
Oh,
loves the taste of them at least, but
yeah.
I love the looks of them, and I'm like, they look ornamental and
Oh.
beautiful. Like there's some like vivid colors too. I love it.
Ooh, that's right up my alley too.
Yes. Yeah. So they would
Well,
match really nice with some zinnias.
Yeah, that's right.
so you tell us more about, like, are you living on, like, a small farm, like, a small property or, like, a larger
Mhm.
like, what is your growing situation like?
It's just a house, and in our backyard, I think it's like a gosh, I'm trying to remember if it's like a quarter of an acre. We have a really big backyard, but it's not huge. So, I currently only have 4 raised beds, and then I have on the side of my fence is where I do also a lot of growing my flowers, but it's just your pretty typical backyard, but we have huge pine trees and evergreens in our backyard, that take up a lot of our space. So,
Gotcha.
That sounds beautiful.
oh, it's gorgeous. Yes.
I love it. Whenever we first started, we were living in a house with just a typical backyard and
Yeah.
everything. So yeah, we didn't have all the beautiful big pine trees that you had.
I know. Now, what about where are you guys now? Like, where do you grow?
So we are now on 5 acres in Oklahoma, like
Uh-huh.
just like right on the outskirts of Oklahoma City. So
Yeah.
we have the best of both worlds here, I feel like, because we have a bunch of animals and
Mhm.
we have goats and chickens and all of that and
So
a
fun.
garden and yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
That's great. That's amazing.
But it's awesome to hear how you're able to grow all that on a smaller scale, and people
Yeah.
have to have large scale and you don't. When in fact, we probably grew more food when we lived in the city than
Mm,
we do here.
yeah.
Just 'cause here we
Yeah.
have more stuff we're doing with the animals. I don't have as much time to dedicate to a garden.
Yeah.
Whereas when we lived in the city, we turned the entire backyard into gardens and we grew way more there. And especially the ways that you show with zinnias, where do you do the same methods where you block out? Can you tell us your methods for zinnias and how you grow
Yeah.
them? I'd like love
Yeah.
to hear like your method for that.
Well, it's the ultimate lazy girl method.
Mhm.
But I I don't do anything special because I don't follow any of the spacing rules.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm all about breaking the rules. And so for me, it's like once I amend my beds and get everything, my raised beds for sure, I pack them full of seeds and I scatter them everywhere. And so I've gotten huge mix bags, and then I've also gotten little seed packets where I like to bulk up on varieties and do like 400 seeds in like a fourth of my beds, and
Mhm.
then I just keep
Oh,
keep
man.
putting them in. Yeah, I go to town, and I just think like the more the better. And so I always use a drip system too, or a soaker hose because um, I'll forget to go out there and water, and so those are lifesavers. So it's like set it and forget it,
How
and
often do you run
that's
it?
about it. What?
How often do you run that drip system in the summer?
Well, so here in Colorado, we're kind of lucky because it doesn't get very hot. I know zinnias love the heat though, so that's a good thing. But basically, when they're first starting, I do two 15-minute systems. Like I run them for 15 minutes 2 times a day in the morning and then the evening. And then once they're pretty much established, I drop that down to about 15, just one 15-minute watering, like soaking a day. And then it's like every 3 days.
Yeah,
By the
and
end, I don't need it at all.
I imagine the drip system saves you a lot on powdery mildew because that is one issue we've seen with zinnias, especially at the end
Yep.
of the season when it starts getting colder, is
Yeah.
powdery mildew.
Mhm.
What other
Yes.
issues do you see?
Well, so powdery mildew does happen for me as well at the end, even though that's why I do water underneath my zinnias, just because it helps. But I have had different pests and things like that's why it would be good to do some companion planting. I've been learning a lot about that. Uh, so let's see what else. I don't I was really lucky and have been for the past couple of years to not have any major issues with zinnias in our garden. I hand pick a lot of things off. One of the worst things that happened was the Japanese beetle situation.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, and they're huge here in Colorado. And so man, that was my big battle last year. And I would go out every morning with this soapy little bucket and hand pick them off. That was the only way that I could really stop them. So, yeah, I've learned a lot about those pests.
Yeah, that's one like big advantage of the country is the
Mhm.
Japanese beetle situation. Like our chickens are pretty much decimated then. That's been awesome.
I bet. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
chickens.
then the
That's
chickens try to eat the plants. You gotta like keep the chickens out. It's the whole
There's a balance there. Yeah, they help with
yes.
the grasshoppers too, which is great.
We did have those for a little bit, but my mom had them, and she's only like 20 minutes away from me. She had them way worse than I did. I didn't have grasshoppers as bad, but yeah.
do you build supports for your zinnias so they don't fall over or anything? Like how do you handle that?
Yes, no, don't do anything support wise. I did add like this really cute, I'm all about like the aesthetics, but this really cute expandable willow fencing around my beds that kind of helped hold them up a little bit. But because I pack them in so heavy, they literally hold themselves up. So I haven't had any issues with them falling over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I was gonna say even our really tall ones, those Parks Picks ones, like
yeah,
we didn't have a lot of issues of them falling over because I mean, they were planted very dense as well, but they were
yeah,
very sturdy.
yeah. They can be sturdy. I know it. I think I don't know, the people who follow the rules and they're spaced out, they tend to fall a little bit. But I feel like I'm really lucky that they hold themselves up for the majority of the time that they're out there. So
Nice.
real laid back over here.
I like it. I mean, that's really the only way that you can actually do something and still and maintain it, I feel like.
Yes.
Because if it's too
Yes.
hard, you're not gonna do it.
Amen.
So is
Oh.
there
Yeah,
anything
I
you're
mean,
excited about and growing this year? Anything new you're gonna be trying in the garden that people can learn about by following you?
Well, this year, for the first time, I planted daffodils. So I'm
ooh,
super excited about those that are coming up. I've done sweet peas before, but nothing like intentional. So this year, I'm going to be intentionally working on some sweet peas, snapdragons too. Really excited about those. Um, I have a love-hate relationship with cosmos, so I haven't decided if I'm gonna do those again. They just kinda take over everywhere. I didn't even plant them last year, and they came back, which was a lovely surprise, but, they came back with a vengeance around my garden beds. I also have strawberries around my garden beds.
oh, I
Nice.
love it.
I guess
Yeah.
I forgot about those.
Yeah.
And those are amazing. And so
Yes.
they are all have just gone crazy. And so I just like kind of that cottage feel
Mhm.
without too much work. So yeah.
Have
I
you
love
always lived
it.
in Colorado?
Actually, I was born in California, but we moved here in middle school. So I've
Okay.
been here ever since. I went to college here too. And I moved away to New York City for 1 year.
Hmm.
And I taught in the Bronx, which was really crazy town. But I loved it. And then my family's here, so I came back. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that was an interesting experience. Wow.
Oh, I could have stories for you there.
I don't know if you would have been able to do much growing up there.
I know, probably not. We did have this little fire escape. If I had known, I would have gotten some zinnias and pots out there,
Ooh, yeah, that would have been so fun.
Wouldn't it have been so cool? Oh,
Yeah.
sheesh.
So what are some of your favorite tips or lazy girl suggestions you've given out that people have really liked?
Yes. So one of them is that I have this bag of zinnia seeds that it's from Earth Science and it's straight off of Amazon. And literally it used to be $9.99, but it has some fertilizer and other things in it. And I just tell them grab the bag and go. And so anything that's easy, that's one of my favorite hacks is just starting with one variety or one type and not overwhelming yourself.
Mhm.
um, I'm trying to think of some of my other hacks. It's hard to think about, and hopefully you can use that
Ton of
one since
thought.
it's not Park Seed, but I know. Let me think about it for a minute about some of my favorite things. I don't know.
Well, what would be your biggest advice for somebody that is just starting growing?
For sure. Just try because you will be blown away at how you actually can grow a cut flower garden. My other piece of advice would be not to get overwhelmed by multiple different kinds of flowers and maybe focus on one to start with and get really comfortable and good with that one flower and then expand, because I think a lot of times there's so many beautiful flowers out there, but some of them have some different rules and it can get overwhelming and complicated. And if you want to get really good at one and then go from there, that's my top advice for sure. And I'm partial to the zinnia, so
Well, I love it. I mean, I think it's great not to feel overwhelmed whenever you're first starting out. And I think
Mhm.
zinnias are a great beginner garden or flower because they're so
Definitely.
simple And like you
Mhm.
said, like, you don't really battle a lot of pests or issues with them, and,
Yeah.
like, we didn't have a lot either, so I think they're just the overall perfect flower.
And it's so
Yes.
important to have success. Like you said, I think a lot of people try to grow too many things. Those different flowers have different growing requirements. You can't keep it straight, and they all end up dying because you
Yep.
overwater all of them, basically. So
Yeah.
I think starting with zinnias, they're so easy. And start by following Kelly, and she'll
Yeah, right?
say the lazy way to do it.
The lazy way that just scatter. The more seeds, the better. That is also one of my favorite tips and hacks is one packet's never enough.
One thing I love about your page is that um, it's just like you said, you like to spread the joy, and that's evident in your page. Is that it's not there's nothing negative there. When we started our page, one of the reasons we did was because we wanted to have a place on the internet that was positive in the face of what
Yes.
felt like was an overloading, like avalanche of negativity. And I think your page is a bright and shiny example of someone else that did that, or just said, you know what, let's just go talk about zinnias and do happy stuff. And
Yes.
we're not going to be ranting about anything related to gardening or whatever. We're just going to show a bunch of pretty flowers and talk about how to grow them. And I think that's awesome.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, that's
Definitely.
what we need more of, is more people just talking about what makes them happy on the internet. I think,
I agree.
we've covered all the ways that we all the negative things. I think we've covered a lot. Yeah.
I know, right? And how can you be like upset about flowers? Like,
Well,
I
a
know.
snowstorm, man,
You're like, "Wow."
about my zinnias before. Like, that's the thing about Oklahoma with the weather is, it can be heartbreaking.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
is true. There can definitely be some heartbreak. I did think of one more hack that I have loved um, that helps with heartbreak and has saved me a few times. I learned that your first round of scattering seeds is just your first round. You should keep going.
yes.
And I didn't even know that it was called succession planting because I just go out and do it. I'm just going to do it because if I don't, it won't happen, right? So finding out that, oh, this has a name, succession planting, and then being able to have multiple rounds on of zinnias, especially if like the first round doesn't do well. So
Mhm. That's
that has been very helpful for me in just having more flowers longer too. So
Yeah,
if
that's perfect.
if you do plant lettuce, same
yeah.
thing applies, and with
Okay.
spinach, because
Okay.
they're so temperamental. And if we get
Mhm.
a hot patch come through, the spinach may not germinate right, or there's just so many factors. So
Yeah.
those are ones where I think a lot of new gardeners will judge themselves on, well, it didn't work. And that's when I tell
Yeah.
them, well, like 25% of my succession plantings didn't work either because of various random reasons. So,
It's true. Yeah. And like those like bald spots, like might as well just throw some more seeds in there, right?
yeah, I
Yep,
know.
yep.
Keep trying.
One thing about zinnias I've noticed is it seems like praying mantis really like them. Have you noticed like an abundance of praying mantis hanging out on your zinnias?
No, not a ton of mine. I do see them every once in a while, but not a ton. Do you guys have a lot of them?
Yeah, they will live on the underside of the zinnia,
Yeah.
and like we have
Mhm.
some footage that we haven't shared because of obvious reasons. I'm about to say
Very sad.
monarchs would come to the zinnia, and then the praying mantis would come out from under and attack it. It was like hiding underneath.
Oh boy.
I was
Yeah.
out there with my Canon one day, like filming the whole thing. I felt like I was on the National Geographic Channel,
Oh,
like one of their. Um, but we've
yeah.
seen that now time and time. I was just curious if that's like a universal zinnia thing, or if that's
Hmm. It
an
might
Oklahoma
be.
zinnia thing.
I haven't noticed a ton of them, but I don't
Interesting.
know. I do have a ton of like bees and
Mm,
huge ones.
yes.
Yes.
It's
And
I
butterflies, isn't it so amazing to walk
There's
out
just
there
so
with
much life.
yes. The butterflies, it's like my favorite. I have a whole album in my camera called Pollinators.
I love
my,
it.
my husband's like, "Who are you?" Well, it's just funny because like we're a very like sports oriented family and I played volleyball in college and so for me now to have transitioned to like gardening he's like okay this is fun. It's pretty cool. But
I love it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of a nerd that way too. If I see like a new insect out there on the flowers, I'm like, "Oh, what is this?" And I'm just like, I'm so excited seeing them, and yeah, it's so fun.
It is. It's really fun. I could spend hours out there. So
Yes.
Yeah, and in the summer too, people think a lot about like depression gardens in the winter,
mhm.
like have to have green around. But I
Yeah.
think there's the same concept in the summer because people get so excited to grow in the spring. You have all this stuff coming out of your garden, then it gets really hot, especially here. And
Mhm.
a lot of times your garden goes dormant, and sometimes that can almost like feel like a winter depression. And zinnias really help me in that aspect because I don't have
Yeah.
to do much to keep them alive. And
Yes.
even when it's really hot, and I can still like feel like a gardener, like the
Yeah.
zinnias and the basil keep me going in the summer. you know?
It's true. I mean, I have some friends in like my community, and one of the ladies I was just talking to the other day, she lives in Arizona. No, yeah, Arizona, right on the border. I think she was saying Arizona and Mexico, and she said zinnias are like the only thing she can get to grow, and they thrive. And she's not even watering them that much. And I'm
Nice.
thinking, wow, how incredible is that to have the zinnias in Arizona, where people are like, there's no way they're going to grow here, and all the way to here in Colorado, all the way to the East Coast too. So that's another major bonus is they grow everywhere. Yeah.
They're very universal. Yep. Well, awesome.
Well, Kelly, is there anything else you want people to know or anything? Tell people where to find you. I know you're on Instagram. Anywhere else that people can find you?
Yes, definitely. So, uh, obviously, I spend a lot of my time over on Instagram, which is really fun. And you can always message me over there. I love chatting with people. And then also, I still have my blog, and you can get there either through lazygirlsgardenclub.com or even thetatteredpew.com. It's one and the same now. And I have a guide to growing zinnias ebook, which is really fun if you just want to like know everything and go for it. Also, I'm super excited because I am launching a community membership that's like a monthly membership where we get to hang out and talk and share together. And so there's a couple of different options of ideas for help if you want it. And if not, you can always just hang out with me on Instagram.
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'll get all those links from you and I will put
Yeah.
them in the description for everybody to go find.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Great.
Thank
Kelly, it
you.
was so great to meet you and to talk to
Yeah.
you today. And we got to get together in the summer and talk about zinnias and compare
I
notes
agree.
favorites. And I'm
Yes.
really looking forward to that. Thank you so
Aw.
much for joining us
Yeah,
today.
I can't wait.
Congratulations. That's what, and you know what? Thank you for putting out positivity and light into the world. That's awesome, and I love to see it. Thank you so much.
Aw. Well, thank you guys for having me. Like, what an honor. And I'm super excited about the app too. So I love like just having it at my fingertips. So that'll be really lovely. So it was nice to
Well, I'm
meet you
excited
guys.
to hear how it goes with you. And you need
I
to send
know.
some pictures because I was sending pictures up with all of those new like insects and things that I was finding. I was taking pictures of it and sending it to Growbot and be like, "What is this?" And it would
Yes.
tell me like what it was and if it was good or bad. And I was like, "Okay, great."
Ooh, okay. I will be promoting that and taking that with me out to the garden. So that'll be
Yeah, you
super
need to try
helpful.
it out. It was fun. I was doing it even with things that I knew what it was just because I wanted to learn more about him. So I
Yeah.
was like, "Ooh, let me snap a picture."
That's the best too. And always learning. I swear I'm always learning something new.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
Awesome.
Well,
Well,
you guys
hopefully
are
we'll
great.
be chatting more again soon
Yeah.
and we'll
We'll
be
I
see
would
you
love
sitting
on
out.
Instagram. If not,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know. That sounds like fun. Well, thank you guys. And I hope you have a good rest of your day.
you
Thank
too.
you.
Bye,
You
Kelly.
too.
Okay. I'll see you soon.